श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभत्वं सदैव श्रीदत्तास्मान् पाहि देवाधिदेव भावग्राह्य क्लेशहारिं सुकीर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। त्वं नो माता त्वं पिता प्तोऽधिपस्त्वं त्राता योग क्षेमकृत् सद्गुरुस्त्वं त्वं सर्वस्वं नो प्रभो विश्वमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। पापं तापं व्याधिमादिं च दैन्यं भीतिं क्लेशं त्वं हराशुत्वदन्यम् त्रातारण्यो वीक्ष ईशास्त्रजूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। नान्यस्त्राता न पिता न भर्ता त्वत्तो देव त्वं शरण्योकहर्ता कुर्वात्रेयानुग्रहं पूर्णराते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। धर्मे प्रीतिं सन्मतिं देवभक्तिं सत्सङ्गाप्तिं देहि भुक्तिं च मुक्तिं भावासक्तिं चाखिलानन्दमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। श्लोकपञ्चकमेतद्यो लोकमङ्गलवर्धनम् प्रपठेन्नियतो भक्त्या श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत्। श्रीपादराजं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभ चरितामृतम Chapter 4. Shankara Bhatta had vision of Vasavambika in Kuravapuram. We three wanted to do meditation in accordance with the instructions of Palaniswamy. Sri Palaniswamy said, "My child Madhava, my boy Shankara, let all three of us meditate. Let us discuss about our spiritual experiences felt during meditation. As this is the command of Srivallabha, some extraordinary spiritual development will be invariably experienced by us in future. English era will be in use in the future. According to the English era, today is 25th May 1336. Today is Friday. This day is a very auspicious day having comprehensive yogic potential. This day has a special significance in our lives. I will leave my physical body here and go to Kuravapuram in my subtle body. It is a child's play for me to roam in 4 or 5 places at the same time in my subtle form. We will all remain in the meditation of Sripada Sreevallabha. When his permission is granted, I will reach Kuravapuram in my subtle body. The way for accessibility of Swami's grace. On hearing the words of Palaniswamy, I wondered and said, Swami, Madhava saw the divine auspicious form of Srivallabha. You are always in communion with Srivallabha in subtle planes, but I only know his name but not his form. How can I meditate upon him? Palaniswamy smiled and said, My boy, if you have devotion for Sripada, everything is achieved. A tortoise protects its offspring with thought waves, even if they are left at a very faraway place. A cat carries its kitten from one house to another, keeping them in its mouth. It will keep them in a place which is considered by it as safe. In the same way, at first, Sripada treats his devotees in Kurma Kishoranyaya. After some progress, the devotees are treated in Marjala Kishoranyaya. Then, the devotees are trained in Markata Kishoranyaya. In Markata Kishoranyaya, the child of the monkey has to attach itself assiduously to its mother. After further progress, devotees will conduct themselves as small fish freely swimming with their mother. When you sit for meditation, he will give darshana to you. Srivallabha wanted to take an important decision for the future. So, he wanted me to go over to Kuravapuram in my subtle body on this momentous day. As soon as I receive his orders during meditation, I will at once proceed to Kuravapuram. There, some important incident is going to take place. Lord Sri Datta has granted me the unique opportunity of witnessing that event completely with my eyes. Saying so, he went into meditation. Myself and Madhava also took to meditation soon after. Meditation went on like this for 10 ghadiyas. A ghadiya is a Hindu hour equivalent to 24 English minutes. All of us became our normal selves curiously at the same time. After meditation, Sri Palaniswamy was in very high spirits. Myself and Madhava requested Swamiji to narrate his experience during meditation. He narrated it with all smiles in the following manner. The story of Shiva Sharma, the result from contemplation of Sripada Sreevallabha. How fortunate are the people living in this Kali Yuga? Even Kuravapuram is a small village. A Vedic scholar and a pious Brahmin named Shiva Sharma, who recognized the greatness of Sripada, was living there along with his wife Ambika. Theirs was the only Brahmin family in Kuravapuram. Daily, he used to cross the river and earned money through acts appropriate for Brahmins to eke out a living. After making some money, he used to return to Kuravapuram. He belonged to the lineage of sage Kashyapa. Shiva Sharma was a great scholar, a strict adherent of religious practices, and belonged to the Yajurveda sect. He was losing his children in a very short time. At last, one son survived. Unfortunately, he was a dullard and a blockhead. Shiva Sharma became weak and sick as a skeleton due to the distress caused by the useless child. One day, he recited Veda in the presence of Srivallabha and stood silent. Sripada noticed the sorrow in his mind and with a gentle smile said, Shiva Sharma, I am a slave to those who forget all worries and constantly meditate upon me. Tell me about your desire." For that Shiva Sharma said, "Swami, I wished that my son should become a greater scholar and orator than me. All my aspirations became futile. My son became an incorrigible idiot. For you who can do and undo things easily, it is not difficult to make him a learned and useful one. I leave it to your kind will." In reply, Sripada averred, "My child, the fruits of past actions are unavoidable even to great people. The entire creation is moving subjected to unbreakable laws. Women get husbands as fruits of their worship. One begets children as fruits of his devotion. One should always donate to deserving people. Donations made to unworthy people bring undesirable results. If food is offered to a good-natured person, the donor of food derives some part of the merit accruing from the good deeds performed by the good person. Donation should be made without arrogance. Then only it gives good results. On account of the past karma, you got a dull-witted one as your son. You couple wanted a child with long span of life. You did not want a short-lived child. So, I granted you a son with complete span of life. If his sin earned in the previous life has to be erased, and he has to be made a good scholar, you have to be ready to sacrifice your life. This has to be done in consonance with the karmic principle. If you are prepared to sacrifice your life, I will make your son a worthy scholar." For that Shiva Sharma replied, "Swami, I entered old age. I am ready to relinquish my life. What more can I aspire than my son becoming a great scholar and speaker like Brihaspati?" Then Sripada, who capable of making things happen and not happen, declared, "Yes, you will die soon. After death, you will remain for some time in subtle body and undertake penance in an underground cellar below a neem tree in Dhishila town. Afterwards, you will take birth in the holy land of Maharashtra. Don't reveal this to your wife under any circumstances." Unveiling the future birth of Sripada Sreevallabha, Shiva Sharma died soon. Ambika was begging along with her son and lived a miserable life. There was no end to the taunts and remarks of ridicule of neighbors. That useless Brahmin youth could not bear the derisive marks of the people. He ran towards the river to commit suicide. His helpless mother also wanted to end her life, and she also ran after him. On account of the punya earned before, Sripada saw them on the way. He dissuaded them from their suicide attempt. With his boundless compassion, he converted the foolish boy into an erudite scholar by his mere will. He instructed Ambika to spend the rest of her life in worshipping Shiva. He expatiated at length the result obtained from worshipping Shiva on Saturdays during evening times. He granted her a boon that in her next birth she would be blessed with a son who is equal to him in all respects. However, as there was no one equal to him in all the three worlds, he himself resolved to be born as her son in her ensuing birth. The intention for the birth of Narasimha Saraswati. Repository of all auspicious qualities, O Vasavambika, may your wish be fulfilled. I will stay for 14 years more and will remain in this body of Sripada Sreevallabha till I attain 30 years. Afterwards, I will disappear. Again, to revive the order of sannyasa, that is asceticism, I will take birth as Narasimha Saraswati and remain in that incarnation for 80 years. Afterwards, I stay in intense penance for 300 years in Kadalivana, that is the forest of plantain trees, and conclude my incarnation in Prajnapura under the name Swami Samartha. In the form of Avadhutas and Siddhas, I perform miracles and incredible sportive plays with my illimitable divine virtues. Sripada spoke sweetly. Men become weaklings with the passage of yugas. Therefore, the Almighty descends to a lower state on the prayer of sages. The incarnation of the Lord in human body is an indication of His complete grace. This descent of the Lordship to lower levels enables humans to obtain excellent results with little effort. Therefore, human beings in Kali Yuga are fortunate. By mere remembrance, the grace of Lord Datta would be available. There are many opportunities for the downfall of man in Kali Yuga, but there are equally twofold numbers of opportunities for obtaining the grace of Sripada. This is a sacrosanct truth. Remembrance, adoration, and other activities establish association with Lord Sripada. By these, all the sinful acts, impure sensual influences, behavioral patterns of the devotees enter into the consciousness of Lord Sripada, and auspicious vibrations enter into his dependent devotees. Sri Charana, the one with auspicious feet, destroys those heaps of sins and black auras which entered into his consciousness by taking a single dip in a holy river, or he will burn them into ashes in the blazing fire of his yoga. He will personally undergo penance and dedicate the fruits of that penance to his dependents. Thus, he protects the devotees without violating the principle of karma. If considered necessary, he would command the inert karmic nature and grants liberation for those who take refuge in his auspicious feet. Every second, he destroys karma for the welfare of his devotees in a very ferocious form. Therefore, those who surrender to his padukas get freedom from the shackles of karma, even without being aware of it. When Sri Palaniswamy explained in the above manner, I was bold to question him about a doubt that had cropped up in my mind. Swami, I heard that when Saturn afflicts for 7.5 years, even Shankara cannot escape from the trouble. Pray, tell me how Shri Guru Sarvabhauma wards off afflictions from planets? My child, Shankara, the planets in the zodiac do not have friendship or enmity towards living beings. When a person is born, the planetary position form according to his past karma, that is accumulated papa and punya from previous births. He derives good and evil effects according to the movement of planets. When the subtle rays from the planets cause ill effects, and mantra, tantra, and yantra remedies cannot abate them, one has to resort to japa, tapa, and homa practices. When they cannot also alleviate the suffering, one has to take refuge in the padukas of Shri Guru. Sripada is omnipotent. Good and evil forces also exist. The vibrations of those forces cause good and bad developments respectively. Each planet has a dominance on a particular part of human anatomy. When planetary afflictions take place, the relevant part of human body ruled by the adverse planet becomes sick. Undesirable results follow when the subtle vibrations flowing from the universal consciousness are received. Variations take place in the attraction and repulsion caused by vibrations. A person who is hitherto in good company suddenly will be subjected to ill effects like bad company, friendship with low-class people, unreasonable quarrels, loss of relatives, disputes with family members, and reduction in the power of personal attraction. The universal forces create vibrations continuously. They work steadily in a state of sthiti for some time in the concerned persons. After some time, they leave those persons and reach the bodies of persons who are destined to come under their influence. They begin to give results again according to the rotation of the wheel of time. People who are devotees of God and observe spiritual practices like japa and tapa can get some respite from their rigor to some extent. Sages conduct various kinds of sacrifices for the universal welfare. They dedicate their spiritual power derived through tapas for the well-being of humanity. As a result of this practice, harmful influences arising in the universe revert back to their origin instead of harassing men. It means that they return to the center of their origin. This can be termed as tirodhana, that is, disappearance or retreat. Grant of abundant auspicious results, even for small amount of good deeds, is called anugraha, that is, grace. My son, I explained to you the concepts of Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Tirodhana and Anugraha according to the doctrine of Kriya Yoga. In future, the powers of Sripada Sreevallabha flow in a large measure in the Muslim fakir you saw in your meditation. You saw 4 Nanda lamps in the underground cellar beneath the neem tree. This is an extraordinary matter. Sripada Sreevallabha granted you this experience with a great intention in mind. He only knows the inner purpose of it. His divine acts are indeed superb. They have a very deep purpose. Moreover, they may be divine secrets not to be divulged to others. I can only explain to you to the extent He permitted me. The entire creation moves very close to the eye signs of Sripada Sreevallabha. He is an authority to himself. The glories, yogic powers of the master of this universe are immeasurable and cannot be comprehended in terms of measurements, limits and quantities. My mind immensely rejoiced at the explanation of Sri Palaniswamy. From the time I started from Udupi Kshetra till I reached Kuravapuram, many wonderful and strange things were taking place. I wanted to write a book about them and obtain the permission of the Shri Guru Sarvabhauma. I wanted to request Sripada in this regard after getting his darshana. Sri Palaniswamy grasped the feelings in my mind easily and said, I have understood the ideas of your mind. You wanted to write his history for the benefit of devotees of the future. Sripada Sreevallabha will surely bless your effort. Then Sri Palaniswamy asked Madhava to speak about his experiences gained in his meditation. Madhava narrated his experiences. Installation of Sripada Sreevallabha Padukas. Installation of idols of Sripada Sreevallabha, Sri Dattatreya and Sri Narasimha Saraswati Swami in the birthplace of Sripada Sreevallabha. Sri Palaniswamy said, Madhava, the house of the maternal grandfather of Sripada Sreevallabha, which you visited, is the birthplace of Sripada Sreevallabha. It has attracted all your powers. In the Patala, that is the lower world, below the Padukas, there are hermits doing penance for several hundreds of years. Sripada Sreevallabha Padukas will be installed only in the birthplace of Sripada Sreevallabha. After some years from the installation of their pious Padukas there, Sripada Sreevallabha Charitaamritham comes to light effortlessly. In the place where you meditated, the idols of Sripada Sreevallabha, Sri Dattatreya and his next incarnation, Sri Narasimha Saraswati, will be installed. Afterwards, many divine sportive plays take place in that kshetra. After that, Sri Palaniswamy became silent. He asked the corpse of the youth buried near our cave to be exhumed. He began to chant the pranava, that is, Om. After the body was taken out, Vyagheshwara Sharma came there with a loud roar of Sripada Rajam Sharanam Prapadhye. Sri Palaniswamy entered into the body of the new youth. Vyagheshwara Sharma, who was in the body of a tiger, took the body of Sri Palaniswamy, which decayed with age, to throw it in a nearby river. Palaniswamy, who entered the new body, ordered, "Leave this place immediately. My boy, Madhava, go to your Vichitrapuram. You saw the pious people of Pithapuram in your subtle body. That is enough for you for this life. My child, Shankara, you go to Tirupati Mahakshetra. Madhava, may the grace of Sripada Sreevallabha be showered on you." Then Madhava went towards Vichitrapuram and myself towards Tirupati. Where is the end to the divine sportive place of Sripada Sreevallabha? Victory, victory to Sripada Sreevallabha. Here ends the 4th chapter of Sripada Sreevallabha Charitamritham. Sripada Rajam Sharanam Prapadhye.
सद्गुरुनाथा हाथ जोड़े तो अंतन को पाऊं, उकलुनी मनिचे हित गुज सारे वद कवणा दाऊं। सद्गुरुनाथा हाथ जोड़े तो अंतन को निषिदिनि श्रमसि मम हितार्थ तु किदि तुझ शिण देवु, हृदयी वससि परिरच दिससि कैसे तुझ पाऊं। सद्गुरुनाथा हाथ जोड़े तो अंतन को पाऊं, उकलुनि मनिचे हित गुज सारे वद कवणा दाऊं। उत्तीर्ण नवे तव उपकारा जरी तनु तुझ वाहू, बोधुनि दाविसी इह पर नश्वर मनि उठला बाहू। सद्गुरुनाथा हाथ जोड़े तो अंतन को पाऊं, उकलुनि मनिचे हित गुज सारे वद कवणा दाऊं। कोण कुटिल में कावण कार्य मम जनिक सारा हूँ, करिमज ऐसा निर्भय निश्चल सम सकला पाऊं। सद्गुरुनाथा हाथ जोड़े तो अंतन को पाऊं, उकलुनि मनिचे हित गुज सारे वद कवणा दाऊं। अजाण हत बल भ्रमित मनिचे तळमळ कशी साहू, निरसुनि माया दावी अनुभव प्रचिति न को पाऊं। सद्गुरुनाथा हाथ जोड़े तो अंतन कवणादाऊ वद कवणादाऊ वद कवणा